Wouldn't you want to know what would happen if you spent just 1 year giving it your all? I mean everything, giving everything your all. Your diet, your workout, your career, your relationship with God. How different would your life look? In this video, we're going to talk about the difference that 1 year can make and how just 1 year of uninterrupted focus could lead to a completely different version of yourself. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on so that you don't miss any future content. This channel exists to help you become a wholehearted follower of Jesus by providing daily spiritual encouragement and devotionals. Let's jump right in. I wonder if you have actually spent the time to think of the kind of difference that 1 year of incessant determination and intentionality could make. How much better would you feel on a daily basis? Would you still be depressed? Would you still have anxiety? Would the problems that exist in your life today exist 1 year from now if you gave it your absolute all? Maybe, but I'm willing to bet that 1 year of uninterrupted focus could lead to a completely different life. One that is unrecognizable. The next year of your life is gonna happen one way or another. Time's gonna pass by anyway. So what do you have to lose by actually trying? Because the way you've done it thus far clearly hasn't worked. Why not go all in? If you committed wholeheartedly 1 year from today, you can come back to me and say, nothing really happened. Everything's the exact same. But I'm willing to bet that if you went all in, you'd come back and tell me that it was the best decision that you've ever made. And you wondered how you could ever have lived the life you were living before. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus tells us a parable about a fig tree that wasn't producing much fruit. There was an owner of a vineyard that was walking through and looked to this fig tree for some fruit, only to realize that it hadn't produced anything. He calls the manager of the vineyard over and says, "For 3 years I've come looking for figs and have yet to find any. Cut this tree down." The manager of the vineyard says, "No, why don't we give it just 1 more year? I'm gonna dig around it, I'm gonna fertilize it, and if it doesn't produce fruit 1 year from now, then we can cut it down." The owner was walking through the vineyard, but didn't find what he was looking for. He didn't see the harvest from the seed that he had once sown. I know about that frustration, where what you've planted hasn't produced. When things didn't turn out as you planned, when your potential seems squashed, when the dream hasn't come true, when the idea hasn't materialized. The reality is, untapped potential is painful. And it can be very frustrating where what you planted isn't producing. Where all the work you've put in, you haven't seen any results. But the truth is, no one cares about what you're going to do. No one cares what your plans are and the journey that you're going to set yourself on. No one cares about what you intend to do. The only thing that matters is what you're doing right now. The only person that's ever gonna give you a pat on the back for even just having a goal will be your mom. I mean, how many times have you said it? This is the year. This is the year that I'm really gonna do it. This time I really mean it. But you know what happens when you continuously say stuff and fail to produce what you've been saying? Your word loses its value and people stop listening. So stop talking, figure out what you're going to do, and actually commit to it. Once you do the thing that you said you were gonna do, let the results speak for themselves. A principle we can extract from the owner of the vineyard is this: if it doesn't grow, then it's got to go. Because here are the facts: if it's not growing, it's probably dying, and dead things take up space. Start to check your life for leaks. Because talent can get you to the top, but the only thing that will keep you there is your character. Here's what I want you to understand today. God will never withdraw what he didn't deposit. Let me put it simple. God never picks what he did not plant. God is, however, expecting that what he planted will produce a harvest. God says, "I've put gifts, abilities, talents on the inside of you. What are you doing with what I've given you?" The problem is some of us are too busy trying to produce something that God never planted. We're trying to produce pomegranates when God's called us to produce figs. When you do this, you rob the energy of what God wanted to complete on the inside of you. And he is faithful to complete it. So stop making excuses and get to work. Some of you need to hear this today. The ground is not the problem. One tree wasn't producing fruit while other trees on the same ground were growing. Are you using your environment as an excuse as to why you're not growing? "Oh, but that person offended me. I've got so many haters." The ground is not the problem. There are others that have had it way worse than you, yet they're still producing. They had less education, they're less cultured, they lost a loved one, they had a worse upbringing, yet here they are flourishing and thriving in life. It's not solely the environment that determines how high you can grow. But as soon as you decide to be different, Satan will give you every excuse to remain the same. So get to the root of the issue. You don't need to shut down the entire vineyard, just fix what's broken. Don't forsake what's working. You think things are gonna magically get better without you putting in the work? You've got to be intentional. Focus on the areas that need the most work and put the work in, because nothing good grows when you leave it alone. Yeah, your grass is gonna grow if you don't pay attention, if you're not intentional, but so will all the weeds around it, and it will choke out what you intended for it to look like. Stop wanting easy. How many books have you read from people that just woke up one day and everything went smoothly? Exactly, absolutely none. The reason is because all the stories that move us are the ones that had to overcome some kind of challenge. They had to allow that difficulty to build some character in them so that they could overcome. And such is the case in your life. That's what humans are supposed to do. Those are the stories that we admire. I mean, how do you feel after you've completed something that was just easy? Do you pat yourself on the back? Do you celebrate yourself? Do you congratulate yourself? No, it's after you've done something that you thought you could never do that you find a new sense of accomplishment. It's when you do something that was difficult. When you do, you learn that on the other side of that difficulty lies joy, fulfillment, confidence. It's all there, but your expectation is that's going to be easy. You can't get the fruit of your labor without doing the labor. Embrace the challenges, move towards the discomfort, and you'll get exactly what you've been looking for. The manager says, leave it alone and I'll take care of it. Give me 1 year and I'll dig around it and I'll fertilize it. What could happen in your life if you realize that the problem is not at the leaf level, but at the root? If you begin to dig around the areas that aren't working, maybe the root of your disappointment is in your dysfunction. I love how the King James Version puts it. It says, I'll dig it and dung it. Maybe that's why when you go through a season of failure, it becomes your fertilizer. It propels you to a new level. So whatever piece of messy crap comes your way this week, just call it fertilizer. Give it a year. Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but just don't quit. See, some of us are too quick to quit. We just quit too quickly. Keep on going, because it's not always about starting something, it's about seeing it through. Author Darren Hardy in his book, The Compound Effect, says it like this: small, smart choices done consistently over time, they lead to the radical difference that we're all looking for. So stay consistent and don't quit. The Bible says this in Galatians 6:9, do not grow weary in doing good, for at the right time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. Maybe the reason why you're so close to quitting and the reason why you feel so weary is because you're this close to your harvest. You might be on your last lap, but you'll never know if you quit now. Hebrews 10:36 says this, you need to persevere so that when you've done the will of God, then you will receive what he's promised. Sometimes it's only at the end of being faithful through the process that you see the payoff. And just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it didn't happen. Think about it like this. Suppose you went to an Olympic-sized swimming pool with a 2-ounce little paper cup from one of those water coolers, and you decided that you were gonna empty that pool with one little cup at a time. And so 1 hour goes by, 2 hours go by, 3 hours goes by. If you went away and came back, would it seem like there was any progress that was made? No. But was there progress happening? Absolutely. And so just because you don't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. If you choose to sit by that pool long enough, if you give it enough time, you'll eventually see some progress. After putting enough reps in, eventually that pool will be empty. It might just take longer than you want it to. It might be inconvenient, but if you stay committed and continue to show up and put the reps in every single day, the only thing standing in between you and the place you want to be is the time that it will take to get there. So give it a year. Do the work, stay consistent, and don't give up. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to hit that like button and share it with somebody that you know needs to hear this message. For daily spiritual encouragement and help becoming a wholehearted follower of Jesus, make sure to hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on so that you don't miss any future content. And so until next time, may your journey be blessed, your growth steady, and your passion sustained. God bless.